Have you ever started the day full of confidence too fast, only to end up binge eating in the evening? Have you felt irritable, dizzy, or struggled with headaches while trying to stay strong on your intermittent fast? You're not alone. Over 80% of women over 40 who start intermittent fasting make mistakes that completely sabotage their progress and worse, put their health at risk. Fasting can be truly transformative, but if done incorrectly, it can throw off your hormones, accelerate aging, and leave you deeply frustrated. That's why in this video, revealing the 10 worst mistakes women make while fasting, especially after 40, and most importantly, how to avoid every single one of them. If you care about your health, longevity, menopause symptoms, slow metabolism, or weight loss, watch all the way through. Your future vitality depends on it. Skipping breakfast without being prepared. You've probably heard breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and maybe you decided to challenge that with fasting. But here's the issue. Jumping straight into skipping breakfast without any preparation is a classic and risky mistake. Many women try a 16-hour fast right away without first adjusting their eating habits or listening to their body's signals. The result? Dizziness, headaches, irritability, nighttime cravings, and even low blood pressure. That's because your body is still metabolically dependent on glucose and hasn't yet adapted to using fat as its primary fuel source, especially after 40, when insulin sensitivity naturally begins to decline. This transition needs to be handled gently and strategically. Here's a practical solution. Before starting intermittent fasting, spend at least 7 days reducing sugar and refined carbs, increasing protein and healthy fats, and making your dinner earlier and more nutrient. This helps your body get the message, hey, we can burn fat now. We're not relying on that 7 a.m. toast with margarine anymore. Fasting with too little protein intake. Among women practicing intermittent fasting, especially after age 40, it's common to see protein intake fall short during eating windows. This habit poses a direct risk to both muscle and metabolic health. As we age, the body naturally undergoes a decline in muscle mass, known as sarcopenia. Without sufficient protein, fasting can accelerate this process, compromising metabolism, physical strength, and bone health. Muscle is one of the most important indicators of vitality in midlife. It plays a key role in blood sugar regulation, fall prevention, maintaining a healthy weight, and supporting the immune system. Protein restriction, even if unintentional, is often linked to the mindset of eating less to lose weight, but this typically leads to poor satiety, muscle loss, skin sagging, and lower energy levels. For women in this age group, the recommended protein intake is approximately 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight per day, adjusted for individual needs. Good protein sources include eggs, fish, lean meats, high-protein yogurt, tofu, legumes, and, when appropriate, whey protein supplements. Intermittent fasting should not be treated merely as a calorie-cutting method. It should be approached as a metabolic optimization strategy, which requires a nutrient, well-balanced diet. Working out while fasting without medical evaluation. Intermittent fasting can be a powerful tool for improving body composition, regulating insulin, and supporting longevity. And when paired with physical exercise, the benefits can be even more pronounced. Women over 40 who are navigating natural hormonal shifts may find this combination especially effective for boosting energy, vitality, and metabolic health. Still, despite its potential, not every body responds the same way. Exercising while fasting places an extra demand on the body. While this can be a form of positive stress, it must be carefully managed. Without proper evaluation, including an assessment of health history, hormonal levels, sleep quality, and diet-fasted training can create imbalances that work against your goals. For some women, exercising in a fasted state leads to mental leads. And when we all know I've meant, look at this, and we all know I've been exploring, with concourse/uncording. We all know I've been exploring that path. Hormonal levels, sleep quality, NYLI/quality/pasted/QOT convisted. Coactoti/pass coming with concorda/corti. Corwect, siqqd/in corf. With candid to see you to can with six side we kind like to see we can you see clue to you so I can we you could with you to you so I you to I can't I could take quick get I died to stu it go with quick I to so I think you eyes I just you can kiss when we with yeah clarity and increased energy. For others, it may trigger fatigue, dizziness, irritability, or even menstrual irregularities. This doesn't mean fasting with exercise is wrong. It just means the approach must be tailored based on your individual biology. A smart way to begin is with lighter workouts, especially during the early adaptation phase. It's important to monitor how your body responds to physical effort without prior food intake. If you experience symptoms like low energy, poor focus, or performance decline, that's a clear sign adjustments are needed. In these cases, professional support from a physician, nutritionist, or fitness specialist trained in women's health is essential. The goal isn't to separate exercise from fasting, it's to integrate them in a way that is both safe and effective. When done mindfully, this combination can deliver lasting, sustainable, and deeply empowering results. Ignoring body signals, dizziness, irritability, insomnia. In any health strategy, tuning into your body is essential. In intermittent fasting, this awareness becomes even more critical. Many women, motivated by the desire to lose weight or take back control of their health, end up ignoring clear signs that something isn't working as it should. Dizziness upon standing, unusual irritability, recurring headaches, trouble sleeping, or a constant sense of anxiety are not normal side effects of fasting. They are warning signs. Your body isn't trying to sabotage your efforts, it's asking for help, signaling that your current eating and fasting patterns aren't being well tolerated at this time. These symptoms are often mistaken for signs that the fasting is working or that you simply need to push through. But a well-structured fast should bring mental clarity, stable energy, lightness, and improved sleep. When the opposite occurs, it's a clear indication that the protocol needs to be reassessed. The pressure to follow rigid patterns like daily long fasts or protocols copied from social media can drown out internal awareness and disconnect a woman from her own body's wisdom. This disconnection is especially risky after age 40, when hormonal balance is already more sensitive to excessive stress. Listening to your body is not a weakness, it's a sign of intelligence. The ability to pause, adapt, and restart with a more appropriate plan is what makes fasting a truly sustainable and beneficial practice. Doing prolonged fasts every day. The initial excitement of seeing results from intermittent fasting often leads many women to believe that more is better. It's common to start with lighter protocols like 12-12 or 14-10 and quickly jump to daily fasts lasting 18 to 20 hours. While prolonged fasting does have clinical applications and proven benefits, doing it daily without rest periods or variation can backfire, especially for the female body after age 40. The female body is highly responsive to changes in energy availability, and that sensitivity increases with perimenopause and menopause. When exposed to frequent, intense fasting, the body may interpret this as a state of chronic scarcity. The outcome is often elevated cortisol, decreased energy, muscle loss, poorer sleep, and in some cases, menstrual disruption or intensified menopausal symptoms. Additionally, the liver and adrenal glands require regular recovery time to support a healthy metabolism. Fasting every day, especially beyond 16 hours without clinical indication, can shift from being a helpful tool to a metabolic burden. This habit, often driven by weight loss obsession, overlooks the need for metabolic flexibility, which is, in truth, the cornerstone of longevity and vitality. Incorporating regular eating days, nourishing meals, and varied fasting windows is a smart way to keep the body adaptable, avoid metabolic plateaus, and protect hormonal health. Longevity isn't achieved through extremes, it comes from intelligent consistency and respect for your body's natural rhythm. Breaking the fast with inflammatory foods. One of the most critical and often overlooked moments in intermittent fasting is the moment you break your fast. After hours without calorie intake, the body becomes highly receptive. With enhanced nutrient absorption and metabolic sensitivity, it's exactly why the quality of the first meal after fasting has a direct impact on how the body responds to the entire process. Many women break their fast with convenient but metabolically harmful foods. Refined breads, pastries, cookies, sugary cereals, drinks with high fructose corn syrup, or snacks high in trans fats and processed vegetable oils. These choices spike blood sugar, trigger a surge in insulin, and initiate inflammatory processes that undo many of the benefits gained during the fast. Inflammatory foods also interfere with the production and action of key hormones like leptin, insulin, and estrogen. This can lead to increased hunger, fluid retention, difficulty focusing, and bloating. Symptoms often blamed on fasting, but actually caused by poor post-fast nutrition. To make intermittent fasting a true health strategy, not just a timed eating restriction, the first meal after a fast must be nutrient-dense, rich in quality proteins, healthy fats, fiber, and essential micronutrients. These choices not only enhance fasting results, but also improve satiety, stabilize mood, and protect against hormonal and inflammatory imbalances. What you eat after fasting determines whether it's a powerful wellness tool or just another draining routine with no meaningful return. Not adjusting fasting to the menstrual cycle or menopause. The female body doesn't operate on a linear system. It follows hormonal rhythms that influence appetite, metabolism, mood, sleep, and stress response. Ignoring these patterns and applying rigid fasting protocols as if they were universal and timeless is a common mistake, one that can lead to serious imbalances. Throughout the menstrual cycle, estrogen and progesterone levels shift significantly. During the follicular phase, right after menstruation, many women feel more energized, less hungry, and better equipped to handle fasting. But in the luteal phase, right before the next period, there's typically more insulin sensitivity, increased hunger, mood swings, and a higher demand for energy. Forcing long fasts during this time can worsen symptoms like anxiety, irritability, and fatigue, and increase the risk of binge eating. In menopause, although the menstrual cycle is no longer present, the body still reacts sensitively to shifts in energy availability. Reduced estrogen and progesterone levels affect insulin sensitivity, bone metabolism, fat distribution, and adrenal function. A rigid fasting protocol with no strategic breaks can intensify symptoms like hot flashes, poor sleep, and cognitive fog. The key is flexibility. Noticing your body's natural rhythms, adjusting fasting windows and durations based on energy levels, and staying attuned to internal signals are what separates a generic routine from a truly effective and sustainable approach. Intermittent fasting can be highly beneficial at every stage of a woman's life, as long as it honors her cycles and individual needs. Believing fasting alone is enough for weight loss. Intermittent fasting can be an effective tool for weight loss, especially when paired with improved insulin sensitivity, appetite control, and reduced inflammation. However, relying solely on fasting as the one and only solution is a common mistake and a frequent source of frustration. Sustainable, healthy weight loss depends on multiple factors beyond just your eating window: sleep quality, stress levels, hormonal balance, adequate protein intake, hydration, body composition, and even exposure to natural light all directly influence how your body burns fat, preserves muscle, and regulates hunger. After age 40, women go through natural changes that slow the metabolism. Loss of lean mass, increased insulin resistance, and declining sex hormones make fat loss more sensitive to imbalance. Fasting may help with meal timing and structure. It cannot make up for a nutrient-poor diet, sedentary lifestyle, or chronic sleep deprivation. There's also a quiet risk in over-focusing on fasting as a weight loss tool, disconnecting from your body's real needs. Eating just because it's time to break the fast or it's on the plan can lead to ignoring true hunger, fullness, and nutritional requirements. The best way to use intermittent fasting is as part of a broader wellness plan, one that values real food, regular movement, stress management, and habit building. Fasting alone is just a technique, but when integrated into a holistic lifestyle, it becomes a true catalyst for transformation. Copying male protocols or young influencers? On social media, it's common to see men promoting extended fasts, intense workouts in a fasted state, and highly restrictive diets as if they're universal solutions. You'll also find very young influencers following protocols that demand high metabolic flexibility and fast recovery. The issue arises when mature women try to apply those same strategies to their bodies without accounting for essential physiological differences. Female metabolism is guided by complex hormonal cycles that are especially sensitive to caloric and physical stress. After 40, this sensitivity becomes even more relevant due to declining levels of estrogen, progesterone, and growth hormone. Protocols designed for men, whose physiology is more stable and not governed by reproductive cycles, often neglect the need for flexibility, recovery, and targeted nutritional support that women require. In addition, much of the fasting and fitness content online is based on personal experience, not clinical or scientific evidence. Women who try to mimic those methods often end up facing fatigue, muscle loss, menstrual irregularities, insomnia, and a disheartening cycle of high expectations and disappointing results. Comparing your body to younger women or men with completely different biology isn't just unrealistic. It can be harmful. What works for a 25-year-old man building muscle or an influencer with an entirely different routine may not work, and in fact could cause harm in a woman navigating hormonal changes, motherhood history, or age-related shifts. The ideal strategy isn't copying, it's personalizing. The female body needs to be listened to, respected, and guided with intelligence, science, and self-awareness. That's where fasting becomes a real ally, not a borrowed or misapplied formula. Not staying hydrated or replenishing electrolytes. During fasting, the body enters a low insulin state, which encourages the kidneys to excrete more water and sodium. While this is a natural process, can lead to a significant loss of essential electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and magnesium, all crucial for muscle function, cardiovascular health, and brain performance. Many women begin fasting with their focus solely on avoiding calories, forgetting that hydration isn't just about drinking water. Consuming liquids without properly replacing electrolytes can cause symptoms such as fatigue, muscle cramps, headaches, irritability, brain fog, and even heart palpitations. These signs are often mistaken for normal fasting side effects, when in reality, they signal a deficiency that can be easily prevented with simple mineral support. After age 40, the body becomes more sensitive to these shifts. Women in this phase of life require extra care when it comes to electrolyte balance, especially when fasting for extended periods, exercising, or navigating hormonal changes. Ignoring this need can make fasting feel harder, delay adaptation, and compromise long-term wellness. The solution lies in prevention. Adding a pinch of mineral salt to your water, choosing foods rich in potassium and magnesium during eating windows, and when needed, using high-quality electrolyte supplements can help maintain internal completion. And we came to do a lunt. And we all know I've been exploring that internal balance. It's a simple step that can transform fasting from something difficult and draining into a safe, empowering, and sustainable practice. Protecting hydration and electrolytes means protecting the physiological foundation that supports all the other benefits of intermittent fasting. When done properly, intermittent fasting is one of the most powerful strategies for restoring health, boosting energy, and supporting longevity, especially for women navigating the natural transitions of life after 40. But more than discipline, Fasting requires sensitivity. Never be a rigid rule book, but a conscious choice shaped by self-awareness, science, and respect for the female body. It's not about blindly following universal plans. It's about learning to listen inward and respond wisely. True transformation begins when a woman takes ownership of her process, when she stops chasing one-size-fits-all solutions and starts building a path aligned with her reality, her cycles, and her priorities. With the right information, professional support, and a willingness to adapt, intermittent fasting can stop being another frustrating attempt and start becoming a sustainable path to vitality and long-term health. If this video helped you see intermittent fasting with more clarity and confidence, give it a like now. Share it with another woman who's ready to take control of her health and vitality. Leave a comment below. Have you made any of these mistakes? What questions do you still have about fasting? Your story might be the exact encouragement someone else needs. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more science-based, human-centered content made specifically for women over 40. Here, your longevity is the priority.